Oh my god, guys, it happened. Overwatch has returned. 6v6 baby tank synergies. I swear I saw Red and Zarya kissing in the spawn room. They were so excited. This was Overwatch. Oh my god, woo! Okay, so if you watch me weekly and whatnot, you may have realized I have not uploaded in almost a month at this point, but that is not without reason. I didn't want to rush to any conclusions and genuinely wanted to put my thoughts together for this video and give an opinion on the 6v6 version of Overwatch because this topic has been so hotly contested. Now, I'm not going to waste more than 30 seconds with my backstory, but I've played Overwatch since 2016. I've been top 100 in both Overwatch 1 and 2. I've competed and earned money through this game, and I've played all roles at the highest level. Why does it matter? It doesn't. I'm just trying to flex. Boom, bam! But honestly, it's to give myself a little bit of credibility on why I believe what I believe. Now, this 6v6 game mode didn't actually change all too much stat-wise, which really surprised me. Characters are still super tanky, damage and healing numbers are still wildly high, and ults genuinely control the flow of the game just as much as they do in 5v5. The largest change really comes from the mindset players have while playing the game. This mode definitely has the most effect on tank players as well, which can be kind of a blessing and a curse, so let's start right there. Tanks, in my opinion, used to be a role that had a lot of depth and a lot of moving pieces, which is why it was appealing to the many amount of tank players that there were. Currently in 5v5, tanks are just big bullies who get countered by the other big bully until you end up in a mirror match where it just kind of falls out of your hands if you're evenly matched with the other tank, which makes the game a lot less interesting. It also has you at the whim of the enemy cooldowns, as if you are the biggest piece of the puzzle controlling the most space, then to win the game, you need to remove the kingpin himself, leaving tanks super susceptible to the Overwatch experience. And nobody, unless you are some sick and twisted demon, finds that fun. Now, 6v6 was prophesized to solve the problem, and now that it's here, did it? Not really, but it gave the tools to. It made the matchups a little bit more engaging, as with teamwork, you and your other tank could properly counter these abilities and still make plays. And genuinely, that is the solution to the problem, but the reason I don't believe it follows it completely is the fact that no teammate you will ever get will be perfect, and in a team game, relying on someone else can be bit more frustrating than having no options. And I can't tell if that feeling's worse. It's like you spend 20 minutes trying your absolute hardest to unscrew something with your car key, damaging your key in the process, and only after you break that thing in half does your friend pull out a screwdriver and you realize that your key wouldn't be broken if they just showed you the fucking screwdriver before you broke your key, but now you're sitting there with a broken key and you can't do anything about it. But you could have solved the problem if your friend just helped you, and you know, he was just too busy being distracted, and you needed, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but still, I personally think that knowing there's an option is much more enjoyable than sitting there and just getting the ever-living crap beat out of you because I wanted to try the character that wasn't hard meta at the time. Speaking of characters, 6v6 also does the great thing of fixing so many tanks and making them feel like they have a purpose. Zarya is back to her old self, feeling much more engaging. Diva has a purpose. Hog is reasonable. Even with newer characters like Mauga, Hazard, and Ram, they all feel much more enjoyable and counterable with 6v6 present. And don't get me started on the reworks like Doom and Orisa. These two feel like night and day. They're much more manageable and feel way more fair, and that's the biggest thing that I think 6v6 does. It makes tank feel like a role that demands skill. Tank synergies negate a lot of the issues of counter swapping, and the biggest benefit is if your tank dies, the fight isn't just over as it is 90% of the time. There's still room to work, which is definitely the nicest part about it. To summarize though, in my best words, I genuinely do feel like 6v6 is just better for the game as a whole. I doubt Overwatch will go back to it, but it kind of hurts being able to experience it even for a little bit and see the depth and complexity come back to the role I enjoy playing the most. I really do think that there's something special here, and having the game be more about teamwork and less about picking the right characters will always be more of a fun experience in my book. Now, I do want to clarify I enjoy 5v5. I think it's much easier to frag out and it's easy to see the impact each individual player has, but in 6v6 the impact may not be as easy to see, but the feeling of doing the most minute thing and turning the tide of the fight will always be more interesting to me. I'm sorry this isn't the usual content I tend to make, but I really wanted to make this video. Luckily for you though, if you stayed this long, I will be going back to just normal videos pretty soon over here, so if you want to see more of those, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.